I'm going to address, and I promised my wife I would do this at the beginning of tonight's session. So she said to me, because I've not cut my hair, some of you know me, you know I'm generally bald. But if I neglect my head, I get these tufts of hair, and maybe if you comment and ask me in the chat, I'll show you. But she said, if you go on live tonight with that hair the way it is, she'd divorce me. So I'm here live tonight. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Here's Monica from Greenwich. Let us know in the chat where you're from. We're going to start in a couple of minutes. But the reason I'm wearing a cap inside is because my wife will kill me. See, look, it's really bad. Anyway, so tonight, hi Oliver, hi Helen. Please let us know where you are in the chat. Makes it a bit more interactive, a bit more fun. We're going to start the session. You'll need notepads and pens. Please do ask any questions as we go. I'm joined by Vasco in a socially distant way tonight. Show the hair, show the hair. It's a bit bad today. Look, bald as a coot here, but really bad on the sides. My family call me Graham when my hair grows like that. Hi, Elaine from London. We'll start a little bit in a second, but I'm going to introduce Vasco to you for a minute. John from John, I know John, and Oliver from London. I'm going to introduce Vasco to you if you've not met him. I'm going to wander off this side. He's going to say hello to a few people and do some, so he's warm up Vasco. And then we'll start in maybe one more minute. So Vasco.
Hello, everyone. My name is Vasco. I'm the Vice President here at Maverrik. And it's great to be here tonight. And I'm sure you're also very happy to be here. It's great to see so many people from so many places. And this is the reach that companies can have. And Dean, I'm sure, is going to talk some about that. And at the end, by the way, there's Q&A. So save all the questions you've got, all those doubts that you have for the end, because we will answer every single one of them. So now it's Dean's turn, and I'll just stay in the sidelines.
Cool. It's really weird doing these sessions where you have to be on and off screen. And as you can probably tell, it's not me that's tall, I'll say that, right? It's not me that's tall. No, I'm only kidding, Vasco. I love him really, but yeah, I'm not 6'4", put it that way. Hi Jocelyn, hi Jay. It's comedy night tonight, isn't it? John, hi Eugene, hi Elaine. Oh, Vasco, you've got a fan, Elaine. So we're going to get started. Notepads and pens. Let's crack on. There's about 100 people watching across various different channels, I think, at the moment. So mastering digital sales. I'm going to teach you some stuff tonight. Do feel free to come find me or Vasco or any of the Maverrik team on LinkedIn. If you have to dip out or you need any of the resources I talk about tonight, just email us and we'll send you the details. I'll put the email on screen. And then if you need any of the things we talk about or you've got questions, do feel free to come and email us or find us on LinkedIn. Cool. Ludovic from California. Awesome. So we've got people in all the different time zones. We've got India, Pakistan, Europe, UK, South Africa. I want a Maverrik polo. We are actually getting some more polos, Jay. So when they're ready, you can have one. This was actually a gift from a client. They got it made for me. So, and Norway, UK, US, Colorado, California. So we've got everybody, Bangladesh, awesome, from all over the place. So let's just crack on. Let's get on with this. Let's get into the training. So just a quick intro. If you've never been to any of these sessions, there is going to be no trick sales pitch. At the end of tonight's session, we'll tell you if you want to talk to us about how we can help you implement stuff like this and take you into growing your revenue. There's an option to arrange a call, but there's by no means a hidden trick here. We're going to give you the full training or as much as we can in the next hour. Just so you're aware, we do these sessions every week. In fact, we do about 4 of these a week now on various different channels for different people. This is our own one we do. Our mission as a business is to help 1 million businesses grow their margin, revenue and profit. And we believe that if we help the world, if we help other people, people will see the value and say, hey, Maverrik, help us implement this. And that's the principle of what we do. So if you get value for free and you go implement it and get results, please give us some credit reviews. But, some of you will come back and say, can I become a customer? And that's all cool with us. So we've been doing this since 2014. So first thing first, are you a transactional, is your business and your sales strategy transactional or value driven? Transactional or value driven? And I want to walk you through this to understand, because if you're being transactional, you'll actually find it harder to sell. You can sell at scale, you can sell lots more, you can try and sell lots more stuff, but actually the results will go down and the success and the quality of the sales you make will go down. Yes, if anybody wants a copy, somebody's mentioned this in the chat, please do email us and say, can I have the recording? Don't put your email in the chat, because we have to go back and hunt them down and we might miss you. Please just email us and say, hey, can you send me the recording? And we'll absolutely send it to you tomorrow. So let's have a look. What do you really want? You want high margin, long-term relationships, and they do not come from transactional selling strategies. So some of you tonight will be watching this and you'll be using email, cold email outreach. There are advantages and disadvantages of cold email. The advantage is you can point, shoot and forget. The disadvantage is that you have to do lots of numbers to get results. So the high margin, long-term relationships don't come from transactional selling. So let's have a look at what transactional selling is. So let's have a look at this. Ask yourself these questions. Are you talking about what you do more than what it can do? Are you talking about what you do more than what it can do? What do I mean by that? Why do customers buy from you? Are they buying the product because it's the product, or are they buying the product for what it does for them? Now, I think we all know the answer, but if you're talking more about what you do than what you can, what the product can do or what the service can do, you're going to attract transactional customers. Are you highlighting the problems you can fix for your customers? So what does this mean? Think about let's think about your business right now. Let's think about your prospects right now, the people you want to sell to. What's the challenges that they have right now that they need to fix? Are you talking about them? Do you understand them? It's really, really important. Does your current strategy and tactics align? So you'd be surprised how many people tell me, oh, we've got a fully integrated strategy and tactical plan. And when you start to unpick it, you realize their strategy says we're value selling, we're not competing on price, it's not about margin, it's not about low margin work. But then you look at what their efforts are, and it's exactly that. It's low margin, transactional, selling it, sell. And if you go down the transactional line, you have to accept that as your volume increases, the percentage of results go down. Now, this isn't the case. So for an example, some people think, well, if I send 1,000 emails, I send 1,000 messages on LinkedIn, I send 1,000 whatever, I will get more sales. Actually, I can set, and we've just tested this, we're going to publish the stats to show you. I've sent, and Vasco's my witness here, 12 emails, 12, just 12. They took on average about 20 minutes to put together. And out of it, 3 prospects became customers. So that is a 25% success rate on 12 emails. Now, when you look at it like that, you go, wow, that's really Cool. How do I do that? Well, this is about understanding the differences between transactional and value-based selling. Transactional about finding people who want your service. Value selling is about finding people with a problem you can fix. Did everybody hear that? That's really important. Write it down. Transactional selling is about selling a service people are looking for. Value selling is about helping customers solve a problem with your product. Very, very different. Yeah, if you get the replay, make a note of this point. And actually, got Jack, who's running the camera, make a timestamp for that because that's important for the replay. So if you don't get value selling, if you don't help people see the value in what you're doing, if you don't get people to see it's more than just its components, you'll churn, you'll burn, and you'll struggle to earn. Yeah, very, very simple statement. So let's have a look at what value-driven selling is, value-based selling. So this is not it. If you can see this on screen right now, this is snapshots of messages on LinkedIn and Facebook and all these places that we're getting them. And you get them, I get them, everybody gets them. We get them in our email. They're just following up and they're just circling back and do you need this and do you need that? But all of them have something in common. They're trying to appeal to a person who is looking for their service. John, yeah, scorched earth selling. I'd be lying if I said it didn't work. And one of my biggest challenges when I do sessions like this and when I talk to some of my customers is they are actually addicted to the results from scorched earth selling, as John calls it. Because you send 1,000 emails and you make sales. You will make sales. But not as many sales as if you'd taken the time to do the value piece. So if I send 1,000 emails, 1,000 emails, doing it through our value-based approach, we'll actually end up with, and let me just do the maths here, what did we say, 10% sale, 10% sale from email to sale? 25% email to sale. So if you look at that, and our average sale can be anywhere from £2,500 pretty much to £50,000. If we did that to 1,000 people, and we could do that in volume, as in, sat there for a day, a few days, weeks even, if we did that, we would absolutely clean up as a business. And so we have a team working on doing those things on a regular basis. So you have to be very curated, very smart with how you're doing it. Vinay says, these days when we send email, they say you are spamming. Well, unsolicited email is annoying. Some people react badly to it. Do you know what I do with it? I generally pay attention to what they're saying to see if there's anything I can learn from it. There's some people that get so cranky about it, it's just delete. It's no big deal. But Vinay, that what you're talking about there is probably very, very, very high volume, sales pitches, sales messages, and it does get annoying. What I'm talking about is if you're trying to sell something of value, you want to be far more curated, far more tailored. And my emails are not automated. When I reach out to somebody, and I put the time in to show them I've reached out to them. I wow them with personalization. And not automated personalization, literal personalization. Literal personalization. What happens with a lot of emails that go out as selling, and I know we've kind of narrowed into email, but that's my fault, is what happens is you have to go broad to appeal to all the different people, to make it make sense to everybody. Whereas when you go narrow, and go narrow in volume. So think about it like this. You can either go broad and generic or narrow in volume. Yeah, broad and generic. So either way you could do high volume, but you can't do the high volume of cold email and do it personalized because each one is personalized. But when I do that, that's why we get a 25% conversion. That's sales, emails to sales, because we do it very, very personalized. Yeah. Some people know us for being LinkedIn, and we are very much big on social selling, but we're pretty damn hot on helping people sell through email too. Marwa, I wouldn't say the email's long is the reason why you're spamming. It's about how personalized. The more personalized it is, the more valuable it becomes. Okay, so you've seen these emails, yeah? You've had them, you've had these LinkedIn messages. They're annoying. Some people get really cranky. Some people like spend their time dealing with this stuff. It's the nature of the beast. But generally, this is all the worst elements of trying to sell by messaging in any way, form. It's the worst elements. And it works on the basis of this. And this is an example here. You can see this on your screens, but this is an example I took from a lead generation agency. So this is not a graph I've made up, and I'm not trying to pick on any particular one because they're all very similar. But just look at the numbers here. 1,000 prospects equals 4 sales. That is their average. That's what they say a typical client can expect. From 1,000 to 4, that's 0.4% success rate. Let's say they're really good. No, let's say they're really, really good, and it's a 1% success rate. How can you even work on the basis of a 1% success rate and scale? If I was coming for a job interview with you, and I've got some questions here, so I'll come to you in a minute. If I came to you with some for a job interview and you asked me how successful are you as a salesperson, and I said, actually, my success rate is 1%, you would never hire me. You wouldn't do it. So why do we rely on strategies like this? Because despite a 99% failure rate, it does actually perform 1% of the time, or 0.4% of the time. So a very unsuccessful strategy can actually be fruitful. And that's why people keep doing it. It's not because it's the best strategy, it's because it's a strategy they've done, tried, and worked. And when you think about it, it's not actually a strategy. You're just playing the odds. Yeah? If I put a 5-year-old on, maybe some people will get upset with this. If I put a 5-year-old on LinkedIn and said, send this, copy and paste this message, they'd be equally as successful as you would be. So there's no skill in this process, and that's the allure of it, but actually it's not very successful. And Camilla makes a good point, actually. No one can 100% work 100% of the time. It's impossible, you're right. But what you should be doing is, as she's saying there, really getting the value of what you're trying to offer over. So it's really, really important that it's the value of you that you're trying to sell. And most of your emails, are you ready? Write this down. I know we've gone into email tonight, but it applies to any method of selling. Your goal, the 99% of the time, is not to tell people how wonderful your product is. Your goal is to convince people that they need to know more about what you've got to offer. So where people go wrong, particularly on these emails, they go wrong because they're trying to blast people with loads of information, assuming that information equals a sale, and it doesn't. Camilla, again, follow-ups. You can follow up, and typically it takes about 7 follow-ups to actually, 7 email series in cold email to actually make it work. 7 email series, and then you might get to a 2% success rate. So it really is a very unsuccessful strategy, but it feels good because you can actually make money. It's like, for an example, if you win the lottery by buying a ticket and you win £2, you go, actually, I'll buy more and more lottery tickets. Well, we know that in the long run that doesn't work. You might have a short-lived success. And one of the big issues with this process, this big pipeline of 1,000 prospects to get 4 sales, let's assume it's 1,000 prospects to get 8 sales, is that what do you do next month? What do you do the month after? How do you sustain this in the future? How do you keep filling that pipeline when literally 90 odd percent or 98% of your pipeline, your database is basically being evaporated, burnt, or unsubscribed. So it's really, really important. So let's look at this in a different way. Yeah, this is where we get really interesting. This is where the light bulb moments are. If you can see, typo on here again, keep opening the wrong presentation. So if you can see on screen here, we've got a journey that a customer goes through. Just ignore this bit at the moment. I've made a typo on here. So the journey that the customer goes through. So the first stage of the customer's journey, not your sales journey, not your sales process, the customer's world, is they have a problem. You can probably fix it. Yeah, so they have a problem that you can fix. So what is that problem? Yeah, so here's a quick way to understand this, and we'll go into this in more detail in a moment. Work backwards from what's the solutions that you can provide to the customers? What are the solutions you can provide? And work backwards to go, what's the problem that they have that you can fix? So they go through this stage. First, the problem that they have, number one. Maybe we need to put this on big on screen. Problem number one, the problem they have. So our website isn't performing. We're not getting leads. We're not getting inquiries from our website. We're not getting traffic on our website. These are problems. Then the outcome that they want, they start to define the results they want. We should be getting 2 or 3 leads a day. We should be getting inquiries. We should be getting inbound interest. Our web traffic should be going up. They're starting to articulate their problem and align it with an outcome they want to achieve. At this point in their journey, they have not defined the solution to their problem. So they have not decided whether it's Facebook ads, Google ads, SEO, outbound marketing, whatever it is, they haven't decided here. They're just going, I've got this and I want that. That's it. That's where they are. Then they get to a point where we've got to do something about this. And they start to research. They start to read things. They start to look around. They're still only looking, I've got this problem, I want this solution. What's the way of fixing it? So they're now looking at a way of fixing it. Not a provider, not a supplier, not an agency, none of that. They're actually looking for the fix. Yeah? How can I grow my web traffic? How can I get more inquiries on my website? That's what they're looking at. Still at this stage, they haven't set on a way. Facebook ads, Google, whatever, chat bots, any of that. It's still all up for grabs. And at some point in this stage here, they decide this is what we're going to do. We need a chat bot. We need SEO. We need Facebook ads. We need this. And then they start to go, how am I going to do that? Who can help me with that? Where can I find this? Does that make sense? Everybody still with me? Does that make sense? Does that make sense to everybody? Does this make sense? Say yes, no. So this journey, I think John's just said, it starts earlier. Well, John, this is the thought process. It's not a stage as in a timeline. It's the thought process of a human being. This is what they tend to do. So this could be months. This could be hours. This could be years. It could be a week. It could be 3 days. This is generally what they do. It's human nature, right? I've got to do something about this. Let's find it. Now, when they get to here, they know exactly what they want. They want SEO. They want this. And the further they get over there, the more prescriptive they become about the solution. So the longer that journey is and the further over to the right-hand side they are, the more prescriptive they become about the solution. So like John said, this could be, this could be hours, weeks, months, years, decades, whatever. Where would you like to meet the customer? Where would you like to meet the customer? When they're looking for the solution and they're prescriptive and you're in a competitive environment because they're now looking for agencies or video production companies or what have you, or would you rather meet them here in this stage where they're actually looking at the pain and the outcome. Because I'll tell you now, pretty much all value selling is done down here. All of it. Yeah, I've made the mistake here. I put the high and the low margin in the wrong sections. But effectively, this is where the high margin is. And the further you go over here, the more competitive and the more tight the margins become. With the extreme of this being, the absolute extreme being tenders, RFQs, pitches, anything like that. Yeah, so down here is where you want to be. Yeah, if you send an email to somebody saying, do you need SEO? And they're down here, I don't know whether I need SEO or not. It's just another email. If you send an email down here that says they're struggling, are you struggling with your web traffic? Are you not getting leads and inquiries from your website, but you want to? They're going to pay attention. Will these people down here pay attention to a pain and outcome-centric message? Yes. Yes. But what we do is we focus on the transactional side. Do you need SEO? Do you need Google Ads? And so you're appealing to a prescriptive client at the end of their journey to finding an answer. And so to pull them back from there, to get them to see another way is quite difficult. But to actually meet people down here and show them the way, often what happens in many businesses, sometimes it's a bit different with very large organizations, but generally, if you meet people down this end, there is no competitive process. They may go out to 3 or 4 different people, but they don't know them, and you've helped them understand the process better. So you have a higher trust threshold or trust score than anybody else. So it's very, very important that you focus on getting people at this stage where they're realizing the problem, where they're engaging with the problem and they're looking at ways to fix it. But premature, they're not so far down the road that they've prescribed how they want to fix it. And think about it like this. So if you can see this on screen here, we'll make this a bit bigger. Think about it like this. Yeah, nobody cares about your product. You care about your product, but your customers and prospects don't care until they realize what it can do for them. You see it here, point B. That's why people buy your product, for what it helps them achieve. So when you're trying to understand your messaging, when you're trying to understand your value, think about it in this scenario. If that's where they want to get to, and my product or service is a tool or a bridge to there, where are they now? Where are they now? Because you need to talk to people in their current reality, their current reality. Does that make sense? Talk to them in their current reality. Camilla's asked a question, but it's too small for me to see. I'll come back to that in a little bit. I'll come back to the questions in a minute. Okay, so you provide value. First way you provide value, talk to their pain. Let your prospects see for themselves that you can help them. Yeah? Often what people do is they use other examples. We've done it for this, but they're still trying to convince people, cajole people that we're the best answer. Anton, not just lead with solutions, lead with pains. Talk to their pain. The key way you get the attention of buyers is to talk to their pains. So you need to think about and reverse engineer. If this is the solution they want, this is the result they want, where are they now? Pain is the biggest motivator to take action, not outcomes. Outcomes they become more and more important, but the first route to attention is actually pain. So don't tell people, let them see it for themselves. So I often say this when people go on sales calls, Part of what you've got to do is help the prospect see their own reality. You can't tell them their own reality. They have to understand it, comprehend it, and add it up for themselves. And part of your job on the sales call is to help the client appreciate their current reality. So the current challenges they face. Now, here's this little bit that's really important. I might not get through all my slides tonight, actually. Here's the bit that's really, really important. If your customer prospect does not see that the cost of inaction is greater than the cost of taking action, they will do nothing. The cost of inaction is the momentum to make a decision. The cost of inaction is the momentum to make a decision. Yeah? So if you just talk about outcomes, it's yeah, we want that. They have to be dissatisfied with where they are to move somewhere else. That's just generally how things work. If it's not uncomfortable, if they don't feel the pain of it, they're not going to move. So when you're in a conversation with a prospect and you're talking, ask them questions. Often what I try and do is get them to quantify or explain to me how their situation is unbearable. So for an example, how many leads are they losing? So if your success rate on cold pitching is 2%, do you think by engaging with people in more detail, you could actually, engaging people more personally, you could increase it? So most people go, yes, I see that, Dean. I can see how you can do that. Okay. So what if instead of sending 1,000 emails to get 4 sales, we sent 50 and got 10 sales? How much are 10 sales worth to you? And I ask them, what's 10 sales worth? And often what prospects do is they go, well, every sale's a bit different. Say your average. What's your average sale? You tell me. Why am I asking them? Because if I give them information about their business, they will doubt it. But if they do the maths themselves, they will understand it better. They will appreciate it and feel it's accurate because they're giving the information. So if I go, well, actually, what's 10 sales, 50 emails? Okay, so it's £5,000. So 10 sales of £5,000 is £50,000. Your cold email is how many sales are you getting from that? 5, say. So 5 sales, £25,000 from 1,000 emails, and you have to work over 7 or 8 emails. This one's 1. 1 email can get you £50,000. With a call, of course, you've got to go on a call. All sales in B2B generally end up in a call, by the way, unless you're e-commerce. And actually, there's an important point here. Think about it like this. Go and look at what your sales activity is doing. If you need a client to be on a call with you to understand your value, don't use an e-commerce sales strategy where you give all the information and hope they'll click a button, because that's what a lot of people do. Yeah? So think about it like that. I go 1,000 emails, 7 emails, so it probably takes you about 7 weeks to get 4 sales. Or we can send 50 in the next week and get 10 meetings, and then what's your conversion? 10 sales. That's what we roughly work on. 25% of all of it works. 25% because it's hyper relevant, hyper personalized. Which is better to you? Oh, and by the way, once you've done those 50 emails, you've still got 950 left to go at. So that 1,000 emails for 4, 5 sales, and I've got 50 to get 10, scale that up, albeit you might lose a bit in the quality of scaling that up or doing that. How many sales do you get now? Becomes a very compelling argument. What have I done? I've helped the customer understand the cost of inaction, the loss, and they've added it up. They've done it themselves. So you provide value, talk to their pain, so your prospects can see for themselves that you can help them. Now, here's another important point, really important point. When we come to your emails, I know we've kind of gone deep into emails tonight, but if you get this in email, you'll get it on social media, you'll get it everywhere. Some of you are just giving too much information. You're not creating enough curiosity. Remember, if you're trying to sell everything in one go, you're going to lose. Just sell the next step. So for most of you in B2B, your job is not to sell the product, it's to create enough curiosity that they're interested in hearing more. That's it. So I was on a call today with one prospect. They told me they only had half an hour. Absolutely, half an hour, that's it. I've got a hard stop. And so I did my presentation, but I kept the curiosity. I kept the energy of pain and outcome all the way through. And I said, oh, it's 4 minutes till our hard stop. Shall we schedule another time and we can pick up on this? So I brought the meeting to an end because I knew there was a lot more and they were interested, they were engaged. So I offered the hard stop. They went, no, I'll shelve that. We'll carry on. But that's about creating curiosity so people want more. Think a bit like Netflix. If you're subscribed to Netflix, there's various series, and in each series they have a season cliffhanger. At the end of each season, they have a cliffhanger that keeps you guessing, what's going to happen now? What's next? I need to know. And then you have a year's wait until the next season. It's a cliffhanger. Start implementing more cliffhangers in your sales process. Because what it does is it encourages people to go, actually, I need to know more. Yeah, I need to know more. That's what you're trying to do. So you're not selling your product, in most cases on email, LinkedIn and all that stuff, you're not selling your product, you're actually selling a conversation. You're trying to show people the value in a conversation. So different. Selling a product like e-com, yeah, oh, this is what the product is, this is its dimensions, this is what it can do, blah, 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 blah. Long email, book a call. Do you want to know more? Yeah? Click a button, in other words, call to action. When you're trying to sell B2B and you need a conversation, a solution, you're selling a conversation. So different. You're trying to create enough curiosity that goes, do you know what? I need to find out about this. I need to know more. And this is where people go wrong, because it's pain and outcome that makes people curious. Yeah. But when you do it the other way, you're appealing to people who want a transaction. They want to know this. And if you meet their criteria, and if you are the best person in their eyes, and if you look better than the competition that they've got the other 3 quotes from, then you've got a chance of winning. With that process I showed you, if you get closer to the pain and the outcome stage where they're discovering this for themselves, all of that competition goes away, and it's a choice of, is it you? Is it do nothing? In other words, is it your solution, do nothing, or shop around? And if their pain's right, they won't want to shop around. They'll want testimonials, they'll want credibility, and then it becomes do we do it or do we not? Now I'm being generalized because every situation's different, of course, but generally that is what happens. And bigger companies, I know big companies who have big procurement processes, but when they understand that you understand their pain and the outcome they want to achieve, and you have the credibility to do it, they can make heaven and earth happen to have that goal achieved. I think Camilla's got an interesting point. She's asking about, maybe I'll answer this in the questions. And Anton says, literally, my role, what you just said for e-commerce business. Yeah, well, Anton, I know this world very, very well. I've pretty much in my 20 years of doing this, have tried literally probably everything. And what I've discovered is this: to sell high margin, high value, long-term relationships, so you don't have to keep replacing clients, you can't use transactional strategies. It has to be highly personalized, highly relationship driven, and they stick with you like glue. Versus the other clients who are transactional, and if they see something else new and shiny, if they see something else a bit cheaper, if 1 month it doesn't work as planned, they're off. Yeah? So you need, every business will have peaks and troughs. And the transactional clients just want their results. They don't care. Relationship clients, value clients, see the value you're delivering and don't really hit you hard on everything. Yeah, Netflix. Yeah, I think, most of these video streaming platforms, like everything, it goes through an expansion mode and everybody does this, does that, does the other, and then everything finds its balance. It's just how it works, and more competition comes into the market. The older I get, and if I had my hat off, you'd think, I was going to swear then, you'd think he's really old. I'm not that old, really. But the older I get, I realise that everything goes round in circles. The whole world, business, we think something's a new thing and it's going to change the world. And then, oh, no, it's just like everything else. It finds its balance. It finds its balance. Everything's like that. Okay, did somebody else have a question? Yeah, Paul says a good point there. Paul says, don't keep sending messages. The reason why we keep sending the follow-up message, just circling back, just following up, not sure if you saw my previous message, is because they ignored the first one. Yeah, because email is overload. And if you really want people's attention, you have to do something really special. And if you do something really special, the rewards, it's like everything in life, isn't it? Right? If you think about it, if you have a get-rich-quick scheme, and you buy into it and they're going to tell you you're going to be a millionaire in 30 days, you know it's not going to work. It's not going to work. And cold email and all these other mass strategies, there's a risk, and the percentages of chance of you making a success of it are slimmer and slimmer the bigger the reward can appeal and look. 1,000 people, oh wow, if we got 10 of them, that'd be brilliant. It's not 10 in reality. The more personalized you are, the more smart you are, the better the result. Yes, you can get results from doing high volume, but it's hit and miss. So let's have a look at a value-driven methodology. This is something we've written and put together. I'm going to show it you now. We've got 19 minutes before I have to wrap up, so I'll go through this pretty quick. We teach this on our accelerator program, and it's basically a process that you can build into any social, any email, any marketing strategy, any sales strategy that will help you make sure you do the right things to get the right results. Now you can bolt a LinkedIn strategy into this, you can bolt an email strategy into this, you can bolt a Twitter strategy into this. It's a method of doing things. So the first thing is, you have to understand, why do people need you? Exactly as I shared earlier, the point A to point B. You have to really get in the heads of your customers. We have an entire worksheet on this process to understand the value you bring to customers. It's called the One Client Profile, and it asks you some horrendously tricky questions to help you understand your customers better. And by the end of it, you'll probably do it twice, but once you've done it, you'll have a real understanding of, this is why my customers need me. This is why my customers need us. So if you want the One Client Profile worksheet, just email us. I'll put the emails somewhere. There. So that's the first thing you have to do. You have to understand that, and then you build your roadmap. So this might be, we're going to go to LinkedIn. We're going to go on LinkedIn and we're going to do prospecting on LinkedIn. Or we're going to go on LinkedIn and use content to get inbound leads. Anybody who tells you you can't get leads on LinkedIn from content is fibbing, because I teach it day in, day out, and I've got accelerator students who've done it consistently, not just once, consistently. So you build a roadmap. We're going to do it through a webinar. We're going to do it through outreach on email. We're going to do it through whatever road you want to take. We're going to build that, and we reverse engineer from the end backwards. So the end being a sale, then it'll be a meeting or conversation or proposal. Then it'll be a first meeting. How do we get the first meeting? How do we get to know them? How do we get them to trust us? How do we get them to listen to us? To, we don't even know these people, or they don't even know us. So we build a reverse engineered roadmap. Now along that roadmap, we're going to have to use messaging to get their attention. So how do we get them to pay attention to us? How do we build out that content? If we're going to do content, how do we build out the emails to get the attention? Then we move on to the intent, and this is the most important thing. So I've seen this work in webinars, and one of our accelerator students went through and did this, and they were trying to find, by intent, I mean the people who need your solution. So in amongst the thousands of people and the thousands of connections and whatever it is, how do you find the people who need you and know they need something like you right now? And this is all about using, again, the positioning, the roadmap, attention, and now building on top of that, the people who need you. So one accelerator student implemented this. Their content brought inbound leads because the content was the right content, not just to get attention, but to find the intent of the people who need you. But then they can also do webinars. So one accelerator student did a webinar. 482 people came up. In the 90 days, they did about £30,000 of sales, I think it was, something like that, maybe £35,000 worth of sales, just by doing all of the things we teach. Intent, why do people need you? What's the messaging that if people engage with it, it tells you they need it? Yeah. We did an exercise this week where we did some posts on LinkedIn, and we did posts that are designed to show the people who need you, to expose them to you. So you've got obvious people. These people are absolutely stuck out like a sore thumb. They need us, and they know they need us, or they need a supply, something we've got to offer. And then you follow up on those. And then it's about, bluntly, doing the work and having a sticking to your process and implementing the process, not doing higgledy-piggledy, try and then give up, try and then give up. It's really important that you do that. Yeah. So work this process: position, roadmap, attention, intent, results. If anybody wants a copy of the replay of this, you can have it. Just email us. But the really important point here is you have to know why they need you. And you have to be able, here and here, to articulate that in a way that's relevant to the customers. The amount of companies I've gone into where they've been struggling with this, they've got this absolutely perfect, and they're trying to focus here, and the problem is they're still in their own heads. They're still communicating, they're still talking, they're still producing content like it's for them. They're not producing it like it's for their customers. They're producing it like it's for their competitors. They're talking to their competitors, not actually talking to their own audience, the people who need them. And so it's really important you get the positioning right, in your customer's words, in your customer's reality. Then you find, how do I get their attention using these pains and these challenges and this worksheet? Jack, if you can put the worksheet on screen, that'd be awesome. Or put the email for the worksheet on screen, and then people can get that. It's all free. There's no catch. And then from that, you build the attention with content or with messaging. And the intent is the phraseology and the way you put it together to actually find out that these people need you. So you learn that they need you. Think of it like you're playing poker with a prospect at distance, and you use a device, a piece of content, a way of doing things that gets them to show you their cards. And then you know that they've got that challenge, and so they come and talk to you. You can go talk to them, or they'll come talk to you. Does that make sense? Yeah, John, you make a really, does it speak to the buyer type? In their words. The closer you get to the customer's way of saying things, even down to the phrase, and we tested this recently with one of our students, and just switched 2 words, and the difference between the 2 words was prospects, no prospects, because the wording matters. And I'm not meaning about a tone of voice here, I'm meaning the choice of words. So this is the process. It all builds on top of each other. Position, roadmap, attention, intent, results. Sounds pretty complicated, but it can literally be, doing it right, it can literally be, do you know what? I want content to do all the work. So I'm just going to have a roadmap about bringing people through content. And that will work. Yeah. If you add prospecting on top of it, if you add email, if you add webinars, if you add these things in, it might seem like a lot. And when somebody joins the accelerator, it feels like a lot. But the idea is you push it through to get new habits, new behaviors implemented and generating results in 90 days, because it's very hard to kick that cold pitch, high volume stuff. It's quite addictive, actually. So I'm going to do questions now. I'm not going to even mention what's on screen. If you want to have a call and chat with us about how we can help you, fine, there's a link, but I'm not going to push it hard. If you want the free resources, by all means, email us. We'll send you the free resources. So there's the worksheets, there's the replay. If you want any of those, go get them. If you'd like to talk to us, fine. Q&A. Anybody got any questions? And Vasco's got some questions. So I'm going to back off and let Vasco talk for a bit, say hello and stuff.
Well, there's something which lots of people tend to forget, Dean, when you went through all of this, which is everything we learned here today. It's called create a relationship, nurture the relationship, you will get results. And that's the problem with people when we say cold calling or cold emails and think. Remember the word cold?
Yeah.
Should say something there. If you create a relationship and you nurture it, it's not cold anymore. So your success rate is certainly going to be different.
And cold doesn't mean, creating a relationship doesn't mean I'm here, but I'm hiding off camera.
Come on, I'll shuffle you.
Creating a relationship does not mean you have to talk to every person first. You can create relationships with content. Yeah.
And that's what we do.
Yes, Leon, exactly. Yeah, and the other thing is, you'll notice on my LinkedIn, by the way, if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, absolutely fine. I will talk tonally as I speak. So if you look at my post and go, is this Dean? You'll probably find that it is Dean in the way I communicate on my posts. It's me. The reason being is people are getting to know me. You can learn a lot by people's language. Some of the times I can't spell, by the way. But that's what you're trying to do. Graham, I'd love to show you a hyper-personalized email, but they are hyper-personalized. So there is a format to it. And maybe if some of you email me and say, in fact, if you email us, I'll give you an example of one of my formats. So I tell you what, email me on the screen here. And if you want one of my emails, just put your, tell me your name and everything. And I'll send you it as I've done it. Yeah. So I'll send you exactly as I've done it and show you how I do it. So I'll do it as if it's to you. Sales team, you're going to have to help me with this because there's a lot of people on this call, on this session. So it might, it might be a bit busier tomorrow. So yeah, if you want the worksheet, if you want the replay, or if you want me to send you my email template and I'll do it for you so you see exactly how it would work for you, we'll do that too.
Dean, couldn't we do something even better?
Go on.
If people want a discovery call with us, drop us an email and we'd be more than happy to talk to you. And we can discuss other things that probably you haven't got time to do it over here.
Oh yeah. I mean, the other thing is, if maybe you're not interested in our services, but you want to talk through how this works, we'll do it. Yeah, because we'll do it because if it helps you, you're going to shout and rave about us to other people and say how valuable all this free stuff was. Some of you might buy, great. But if you don't, you're going to rant and rave and we're going to ask you for, if you've got...
Still great.
No. If we have a call and somebody doesn't need what we've got to offer, the only thing we ask is this. If you've got value from the call, tell Google Reviews or Trustpilot or my LinkedIn, and that's cool. That's cool with us. Mr. Maverrik, yeah. I want to gift a book to you. Vinay, great. Go for it. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Leon, but just be aware, 500 people are watching this across multiple channels and replays and scheduled lives. So, Leon, we will find you, but it may take some time. So
It'll be faster.
if you drop us an email, we'll deal with the emails first, and then tomorrow we'll go through all of the registrations to make sure they got in and got everything. But yeah, any other question? Camilla, yeah, happy to chat anytime. Vinay, do you want to send me a book, or were you recommending a book? I don't know what Vinay is. Vinay going to give me a book? It's nice if you do. That's awesome. Any other questions? What tips do you have for helping a team to buy into value-driven sales over transactional methods without tangible statistics? Right. So Kevin, you've got a good point here. Often what happens is, I'll give you an example. Cold calling, cold email, they are getting some degree of results. So what I normally do is when I go on a call with a company, I will say to them, give me 5 of your prospects that you want to hunt down, companies or whoever. And in that call, I will show them exactly how I can get them onto a phone call without ever cold pitching, without ever hitting them up on a mobile phone, calling their phone. And I will show you how I'll get them onto a call. Any of my favorite books. Vinay's asking me, what's my favorite book? Vinay, email us because I have to think about this. He
hasn't seen your office, that's the thing.
Yeah, my office is full of books. I read and flick through books all the time. So Kevin, that's what I do, is I walk them through and say, tell me even the hardest prospect, the ones that have been struggling. And I've got one client at the moment, they said, okay, show me. 2 jobs just asked. Yeah, Camilla, we will get the replay out. We'll just edit down some of the ramblings at the beginning, and eventually it'll be out. Would you avoid attachments to emails or links for the emails? Wondering what might cause concern in potential target from analyze. So basically malware. The key, so here's the fantastic thing. 1 job, 2 jobs. If you're doing it hyper-personalized, number 1, every email is different. Number 2, it doesn't matter if you're sending attachments or not. Obviously, the file size matters. And number 3, you're never going to harm your domain reputation or any of that because you're doing normal stuff. The stuff that email was designed for. So a lot of that stuff and those challenges just fall away. In cold email, you need a burner domain, you need all of this stuff. And don't get me wrong, there are times when you might want to, for like email newsletters, use a different domain. We've got an email list of about 11,000. We cull it after 3 months to make sure there's nobody on it. So if you don't respond to any of our outreaches, or not outreaches, but we send newsletters and updates and free invites and stuff, so you'll never get a hard pitch from us. But if you get our newsletter and you don't pay attention to it for 3 months, you come off our list. Because we don't want to harm our domain by sending stuff to people who aren't interested. And this is the real thing. It's about finding the people who are interested and engaging with them, not mithering or pestering the people who have no interest or don't understand their own interest. Any other questions? Any other questions? No? Any of my favorite books? Oh. This is a tricky one because I've got a lot of them. I tell you, Vinay, what I am looking for is an old book at the moment. I've got a copy of it, but every time somebody comes to see me in our office, not for a little while, obviously, I give them a copy of it. And I've given my copy away. And you know what happens when you lend books to people? Oh yeah, I'll give it you back and never see it again. It's a copy of a book called Sales Letters That Sizzle. Sales Letters That Sizzle. It's really old. You might think it's out of date, but it's so good for writing sales messages and understanding the psychology around sales messages. Cool. Well, if there's no more questions, I'm going to leave you one last request. If you're watching on YouTube, thumbs up, subscribe, ring the bell. all of that. If you're watching on LinkedIn, please like, follow the company page. If you're watching on Facebook, follow wherever you're watching, like, and come connect with me on LinkedIn. Happy to have a conversation. Even just message me on LinkedIn. It's absolutely cool. But the key thing is, don't just go, that was interesting. Go home and forget this. Understand it, absorb it, and see what you can implement. Bit by bit, implement, because you will see better results from what you're doing in your business. And as you implement, come find me and tell me how it's going. Even if you don't need us, come find me and tell me. And if you do need us, email us and book a call or get the free resources on email. I'm going to go now. I did promise Mrs. Seddon, if you're watching, I haven't took my hat off, not once. I'll see you next week. Tuesday, we're doing Sales Navigator training. Next Tuesday, Sales Navigator training. Go register, Eventbrite, LinkedIn, wherever you found us. It's free again. Sales Navigator training, all free. Next Tuesday, 7 p.m. UK. See you next week.